Hello and welcome to the series on vocabulary. In this video, we'll discuss cloze test. Now, cloze test is a close cousin of fill in the blank questions. The only difference is that instead of 2-3 lines, now you will get a paragraph. That means a paragraph which may have 5 to 7, 10 lines. And what you'll get is the author would have written a paragraph and the blanks are omitted. That means there are these blanks in between and you're supposed to figure out what those words could fit in. So again, the most important thing that becomes here is really the context in which those words should be used. So let's take a few examples to illustrate the same. So the process, so before we go to the examples, the process like we discussed remains the same. It's a simple 3-step process. Number one thing that you do is you try to understand and get the context very well. Then of course you think of the word that can complete the meaning and you try to predict it, and then you try to match it with the option choices. Let's attempt 2 cloze test paragraphs to further this understanding. Okay, first we read, today experts all over the world are of the opinion that agriculture will affect the future of the world. The world has a serious food dash and the only way to solve dash is if more people take up dash. So it's more like experts are of the opinion that agriculture will affect the future of the world. That means agriculture is going to become very important. The world has a serious food. Serious, now this indicates that there is some issue, right? So serious food issue, serious problem, something like that, right? And the only way to solve the problem, right? Solve the problem or solve the problem that is already stated, right? It is if more people take up dash. What will more people take up to solve agriculture problem? Probably they'll take up that as the main source, right? Probably they'll take up something like farming, right? So before we move to the next option, let's look at the options and choose. Okay, so today experts all over the world are of the opinion that agriculture will affect the future of the world. The world has a serious food trouble, not really, doesn't go very well. Doubt, definitely not. Discussion, definitely not. Serious food production. Of course, the only option is trouble. You could have said, okay, it could be trouble, but it's more like problem. And the only way to solve dash, solve how is, solve usually is it, these, which. So obviously this is easy. The only way to solve it is if more people take up time. Take up time for what? Take up matter in their own hands or something would have been still fine, right? But here it doesn't. Take up offer, job, no. Take up what job? Take up farming. Moreover, since the 1980s, technology and finance jobs dash been the basis of America's economy. Dash in recent times, farmer income have risen. Okay. So it's more like, moreover, since the 1980s, technology, finance jobs dash been the basis of America's economy. So what should be the option? So let's look at also been the basis. Finance jobs, no. Has, okay, has not been the basis, no. Have, were been. So were been is grammatically incorrect. That means the only option is has or have. Now here you're talking about technology and finance jobs. That means two things. So obviously it's plural, right? So subject verb agreements, it should be have. But the basis of America's economy, dash in recent times, farmer income have risen. So he was earlier saying technology, finance jobs were the basis of America's economy. But he's saying now farmers' incomes have risen. So there should be a switch here, which indicate a shift in meaning, right? So the fifth option should be, however, instead in recent times. Okay, yeah, it doesn't make sense. Despite in recent times, okay, no. Again in recent times, so this is in line with that. That doesn't, be looking for something that is antithesis to this still. So however is the best option. However, in recent times, farmers' incomes have risen. Risen what? Risen up, risen okay, much, risen much, no. Risen, and now up, this is redundant, right? So therefore we would not choose this. Risen above something, but there is no something, right? So have risen sharply. So highly you will not say. Something has risen highly is wrong to say. It is more about sharply, right? Has risen sharply. It has also been a long time. It's been a long time. So while doesn't make sense, right? It's been a long time when farming was a major source, right? You could also have option like since, right? So these two could be the close options, right? So it's been a long time when farming was a major source of employment, but data dash that unemployment in America in states where farming is the dash occupation. Okay, so farming was a major source of, it's been a long time when it was a major source of employment, but now data predicts that probably, it's good here. So but data collected that no, but data informs, calculate, analyzed, data show, right? Because data informs, no, data doesn't inform, data doesn't calculate, data doesn't analyze, right? Data show that unemployment in America is dash in states where farming is the dash occupation. Is, what should it be? Now these two would go together somewhere, right? 9 and 10, right? Similar in nature. But data show that unemployment in America is smaller. No, smaller doesn't, is not grammatically correct. Decreased, important, not. So only option that makes sense here is lowest. So where farming is the lowest, unemployment in America is lowest, where farming is the main occupation, right? Superior occupation, suitable, right? Best. So it should be this. But data show that unemployment in America is lowest where farming is the main occupation. So 9, 10 also had to do with some similarity. So I hope you got the idea. So it was just about context, right? As much as context you read, because you can't read the whole thing and then try to fill in all the blanks. You could do that also, but I suggest you read 2 3 lines and then do those, complete those options and then move forward with it. Let's attempt the second option. In the 1980s, Japan was regarded as the highly developed country. However, in recent years, Japan's growth has dash, and the recent earthquake and tsunami have dash devastated the country. So it was a highly developed country, but this is the switch which indicates there's a shift in meaning, right? So Japan's growth has dash, so it can't be has been high, it has to be low, right? And recent have also devastated the country, something like this, right? Let's look at the options. Okay, Japan was highly developed. Japan's growth has recently Japan's growth has stop, no, decrease, drop, decline. So because you need a past tense also, therefore decline makes sense, right? So declined, and the recent earthquake and tsunami have two devastated, not caused, complete, have also, and the recent earthquake and tsunami have also devastated the country. As their nation dash to cope with the disaster, its youth are dash to meet the challenges. Okay, they are doing something to meet the challenges. Many young Japanese have now become not only contributing, so basically some positive things. So as their nation is trying to grapple with the situation, the youth are pitching in, right? That's what the sense is. So as their nation competes, it's not about competing. As their nation efforts, no, incorrect. As their nation need, struggling. As the nation tries, absolutely. So as their nation tries to cope with the disaster, its youth are helping, right? Are rising. Yes, yeah, this is all wrong. Cooperative, no, it was cooperating, it could still have been considered, but here it's only rising. Its youth are rising to meet the challenges. Many young Japanese have become dash, not only contributing essential items and money, but also coordinating rescue efforts. So something positive about them, right? So many young Japanese have become knowledgeable, heroes, volunteer, many volunteers, right? Jobless, no. Powerful, no. It should be heroes because they are contributing essential items and also coordinating. So you're talking about something positive, right? So they've they're not only contributing essential items and money, and now not only this but also, right? So now see, not only contributing this but also contributing this. Now this is a case of correlative conjunctions, right? Like how you know some words always go together. For example, you have your either or, you have your both x and y, you have no sooner than, hardly when. So this is the case of correlative conjunctions, right? Neither nor. So some of these always go together, these conjunctions. So here it was a grammar thingy that not only, so here it has to be but also, no other option, right? So option is here. Now seventh, few people dash that Japan's young people would bring about its dash. After all, nearly 1 in 10 youth were unemployed. Many dash only part-time, young people were only supposed to have something. So it's like few people expected these young people to really rise up to the occasion and do something, but they have really done something different. And a large size often takes a huge crisis to make a society achieve its full potential, right? So few people thought, dream, realize, know, perceive, thought, right? Few people expected, that means few people thought that Japan's young people would bring about its changes. No, they didn't bring about downfall, they started helping. Renewal, right? Because they are sort of coping up with this whole thing. So renewal is the best word here. Bring about its renewal. Reforms, independence doesn't make sense. Changes doesn't make sense. Bring about its renewal. After all, nearly 1 in 10 youth, 1 in 10 youth were unemployed. Many dash only part-time. Many earnings, many employee, many wages higher. Many worked only part-time, and young people were only supposed to have fun, right? This makes more sense on their minds. So this is what the earlier belief was, but then often it takes a huge crisis to make a society change to achieve its potential. So again, so what we've learned here is some context, used common sense. We looked at the words in the blank, right? So we looked at the sentence before and after the blank so as to get the context. We also looked at the case of correlative conjunctions, and in fact I would urge you to look up the list of correlative conjunctions on Google, or otherwise on our website also you will have this in the note section. That's about Cloze test. So thanks for watching the video, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.